Hello there. I've just been listening again to Jabe's video about the RCPCH report on Jabe's channel, which is at Jabe's Allowed. Well, and I read the RCPCH report some time ago, but it's just striking me again how it's a mixed bag, isn't it? Because it's both looking at what was wrong to a certain extent back then, in the period of the deaths that they're concerned about. But it's also looking at comparing it with compliance at the time when they come in, which is after they've reduced the unit to a level 1. So in different parts of the report here, they're saying they're compliant. They're saying there are daily ward rounds, but that's about since it's gone down to a level 1 and since they've instituted them. And then there's another part of the report which says there are only 2 a week, which is what we've thought, and there are 5 on pediatrics, and obviously that's when it was a level 2. There's a suggestion in it that they've got to get more consultants on board in 2017, and that the funding is meant to be being prepared for that. And I believe that did happen, didn't it? And what it's stating in the RCPCH is that, well, if you want to go up to a level 2 again, that's what you need to do. And then they did all that, but they never raised it up. I know this is an old point. Why was it never raised back up to a level 2 unit? Why was it not? There's a point in the RCPCH report in which the people undertaking the investigation from the RCPCH are told by the consultants, doesn't give any names, but it says they're concerned that they would lose skills, that they'll lose skills within the units if they stay at a level 1 unit. But it's never changed. In how many years? What's that all about then? Why wouldn't it have been? Why wouldn't it have been? Is that a sort of political move? Some kind of the idea that the investigation and then the arrests of an innocent person, and then it's all leading up to the trial. I mean, they don't. I can't understand the rationale. How would they explain it? Have they ever been asked to explain it? Did Myers, not having the whole court transcript, did Myers ask of anybody, any of the witnesses, and ask them to say, well, now that the person you thought who was causing the problem was removed in July 2016, they never came back. So if all had been well there, and in 2017 you've got extra consultants there, and you've been told by the RCPCH what you need to do to meet compliance, why all this time later, and we're talking about 7, 8 years later now, why is it still a level 1 unit? They were concerned about losing skills, i.e. that they felt, they had everything, they had the skills to run a level 2 unit. The only thing that had got in their way was this quote-unquote serial killer. Everything would have been fine apart from that, wouldn't it? Now that that's been dealt with, why aren't you a level 2 unit anymore? I know it's an old question, but it's nagging, isn't it? It really is a nagging question. But just reading through the bit that's being read out on Jabe's channel there, which is the RCPCH report, is the way it's dotting around in time and talking about compliance. But because they're doing the report and the investigation, and they're making the visits in September 2016, once it's a level 1 unit, how accurate are they in terms of retrospectively looking at compliance and the level of all the shortfalls back over 2015 and 2016? Are they going back to it in the degree about every aspect required to really give a picture of what was missing, to match up with Alison Timmis's characterization that it was an unsafe unit, and they were basically kind of drowning in this pressure, and there was so little cover and so little. The staffing was at a dangerous level. It was an unsafe unit, and nobody was listening to them. There's something that's missing in that RCPCH report in terms of doing a full retrospective view of what that unit was like in 2015 and the first half of 2016, and right in the middle of that period when Alison Timmis writes that email. That's what the RCPCH should have been focused on, not so much. I know perhaps as well they've got to do, are they now even meeting the level 1 unit level, are they up to that? Was it beyond their remit to do this, or beyond their ability to do it, or do you see what I mean? There's bits in there about it. It kind of flips back in time and comes up to it comes up to the current time when they're a level 1 unit, looking at that and looking at compliance based on the level 1 unit needs, but not so much, I think, across all the metrics of what the level 2 unit should have required. That's the sense I'm getting. And then it's projecting into the future that when it says, if you want reconsideration to move up to a level 2 unit, again, this is what you need to do. Obviously, you can't be non-compliant. So when it's saying it's non-compliant in a lot of the points made in the RCPCH report, it's talking about non-compliance at a level 1 still, isn't it? It's talking about non-compliance at a level 1. So how much more non-compliant? That's just, it's not spelt out, but how it's obviously you can infer how much more non-compliant was it prior to the reduction to a level 1 when it was at a level 2, they're taking babies from 27 weeks onwards, and some just on the very cusp, weren't they? And obviously some that should have been in a level 3 unit and never should have been with them anyway. So that it's just made me think differently about the RCPCH report, that it's trying to straddle different time periods, and some of the points being made are really about it as a level 1. And perhaps there's some elements missing there in terms of getting a real definite sense of the shortfall or the failures of compliance at a level 2. You could go through every element of that there. Yes, they kind of pay some lip service to. No, it's not lip service. They make some definite points in terms of. So what I'm saying is the same report says, oh, there were only two a week. And they're going back retrospectively then. But now they're saying there are. There's one every day at 5 p.m. and weekday mornings in terms of consultant ward rounds. But they're not happy with the compliance at level 1. That's what struck me today. They're not happy with the compliance at a level 1 when they've come in. And they recommend these extra consultants need to be employed to meet compliance for level 1. So the disjunction there, the difference in the gap of failing to meet compliance to a level 2 must be so much the higher, mustn't it? So much the higher. I think that's what struck me about. I mean, maybe everyone's recognized this already. It just feels like a slightly different thing now. Just hearing it being read out and through this video, and hearing it again after quite a long gap between reading it and just looking at it again via this video that Jabe has done. I'll put the link below in the description bar to Jabe's video. Thank you very much. I'm going to sneeze. Sorry, I've got to go. Bye. Thank you very much. Bye.